Ignition.
It drops from the underbelly.
Good control.
And there are the people on board looking
Trimming,
remarkably
that's turning, pulling the nose up.
So now what happens, Laura?
And trim is
They go
set.
to
We're
the
now
edge
traveling at approximately
of
Mach
space.
1.4.
Wow, so fast.
There's max Q, that's the maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle. Those on board are experiencing about 3 Gs at the moment. The trim is complete and Unity is in the vertical headed toward space. Mach 2.
Yeah, this is actually, we're just going to listen in, if you haven't really already realized that, this is an incredible video as we watch Virgin Galactic's first commercial spaceflight.
Richard Branson, the owner of the company, he's been at this for decades. He flew in a space launch about 2 years ago. This is the first commercial space launch. If everything goes according to plan,
Mach 2.8,
they'll
rocket motor
start doing
cutoff.
this monthly.
Amazing.
All right. Predicted apogee today is 275,000 feet. That's 84.3 kilometers.
Incredible.
Our mission specialists have been cleared to unstrap and enjoy the zero-G experience.
This
Now
is
they're floating.
amazing. What you're seeing is Colonel Villaday going to the back to tend to the payloads that are mounted on the rack. You can see Landolfi and Leo starting their experiments in their seat and having, looks like, a great time, of course.
They're doing work.
The feather is moving, as you can see. Starting that backflip maneuver I spoke of, the feather is now fully up.
Amazing.
Oh, the Italian flag.
And the
And
Italian
Viva la
flag.
Italia! This is 100 years for the Italian Air Force. So happy centennial to the Air Force. This is absolutely incredible. And welcome to space astronauts. How absolutely incredible. Benvenuto nello spazio. Congratulations to Walter, Angelo, and Leo on becoming astronauts today. And a special congratulations to our pilot, Nicola, for his first space flight. Welcome back to space, Mike and Colin. This is absolutely incredible.
Wonderful.
You can see I'm tripping over my words because I
So
can
they're only
see
up there, Lauren, I believe, for what, 5 minutes of weightlessness.
I would love to get out of my seat and
We've also
experience
trained
what
our
that feels like, but you
astronauts
saw
training
2 of the
program to
astronauts sitting in
Yeah.
their seats doing their science and research
Yeah,
experiments.
they're like, that's great, whatever, I've got a job to do here. They're just busily
I want to
working
say, get
away.
up, roll around.
because all of the science and
So we
all
have,
of the research
well, we have
that
4
they're
crew
conducting
members
on
and 2
board.
pilots up
Correct.
there right now. And
Six
eventually,
members.
after they do begin their descent, they will literally come down the glide phase where they just glide down onto a runway down in the desert.
But they need to get that glide phase perfectly orchestrated and stay on the path. They've had issues with that in the past. Look how black it is outside.
It really is.
When you're on the edge of space.
279,000 feet.
Darkness.
Remarkable.
The pilots are currently completing the backflip maneuver, orienting the vehicle for
So they're
re-entry.
doing their experiments in
Now, just
weightlessness.
before
They
flight
literally, they don't have much time to do it, do they?
No,
quick
it's so
to,
fast. 13 of them.
Return to seats.
They're
call to the
examining
mission specialist.
microgravity.
And our training team has worked this portion of the flight out so that it's very natural and intuitive for our passengers.
So you were saying they
Now,
hope to
when
do
we
this
talk about
once a
space
month.
travel, a lot of people
Starting in
know
August, if everything goes according to plan, Virgin Galactic wants to ferry paying passengers, space tourists, to the edge of space.
$450,000 a
And
ticket.
over again. I've read that they have $100 million in deposits lined up.
It's incredible. And all of this, by the way, from the takeoff of the plane, carrying the vessel, back to landing is 90 minutes. So
The whole thing is now
$450,000 for 90 minutes.
and the experience that you can talk about for a lifetime.
Yes.
Look, a few weeks ago, they raised $300 million as a company. They're
Wow.
looking to raise $400 million more to get more aircraft to be able to do this in increasing numbers.
Amazing.
Terrific views. You know, when we were watching it earlier, it was just disappearing into the haze, but these are terrific photographs.
Do you remember
So
Jeff
for re-entry,
Bezos
we're now
with Blue Origin?
Yes, of course.
He did something similar.
William Shatner and all that.
Yes, and that seemed, there wasn't signs that we knew about happening on that flight. So this is Richard Branson's turn to produce that same experience.
pointed toward spaceport.
Bezos goes a little bit higher.
We're now
Elon Musk is obviously trying to do this with SpaceX, his space company, but Elon Musk is the only billionaire who has not been.
But they're all sitting there very calmly, aren't they? It's interesting.
They're working.
Yeah.
You expected the party like we saw with Blue Origin.
I think so, but I understand.
And even with
I have
SpaceX
to
in the
go.
control room when everybody was cheering.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I also think they're nervous because look what happened with the Titan submersible and that company. Granted, it's completely different, but it's under the realm of extreme tourism.
True.
There is a
That
nervousness
true,
out
of
there
course.
that something could go
Any
wrong.
trip like this comes with the risk.
These
of course.
passengers were required to sign a waiver acknowledging the risks and also the lack of regulation when they do things like this.
Its unique experience. It has the
All right, let's
ability
listen in again real quick to see
science.
where we're
Our
at.
payloads that are on the rack are conducting and recording data all the way through each phase of flight. So you get hypergravity and low gravity data and that transition in between.
The feather is almost completed. The feather down. It is now down and locked.
Those watching from Spaceport America, now's a great time to go outside. Unity will be coming into view and you can cheer on the crew as they return to Earth. Now, the mission specialists on the flight are supported by an incredible team on the ground from both the Air Force and the Center for National Research in Italy, who designed and developed the research being conducted on board. Space-based research is an incredible capability that is being opened up by suborbital vehicles like our own spaceflight system. One of the researchers utilizing this capability to the fullest is here with us in the studio. I'm so excited. A future astronaut, a friend, and a space-based researcher, Kelly Girardi. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, I gotta ask, how are you feeling having watched this incredible crew go to space today, knowing that you're gonna be there on a future space flight?
It's surreal, I have to say. Just the energy outside, and I've had the benefit from being on this side of the live stream for a number of Virgin Galactic space flights, including yours. And it's so special to experience that here at Spaceport America with the crew and their families and the Virgin Galactic workforce and mission control. And it's emotional. I remember during their space flight when I heard release, 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 I burst into tears, and I'm glad that my mic was off during the live cast, but it's the profundity of human spaceflight, and I'm so ready to be on the other side of this live stream.
It's incredible. I mean, this is my 6th space flight, and you probably saw I was tripping over my words. I just couldn't get it out because of the excitement.
Exactly.
And so you're on a future dedicated research mission. Could you tell us a little bit about the science that you're going to be conducting?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm flying on a dedicated research mission. I am
Again, we
representing
are
my
watching
research.
history being made for Virgin Galactic space programs, the first commercial space flight. They were up in the on the edge of space for a relatively short time there to get to experience weightlessness for a number of minutes. 3 of the crew members from Italy doing experiments. There's a Virgin Galactic instructor and 2 pilots, so a total of 6 people. But they're now in the glide phase. They're coming back down slowly. It's over very quickly. It takes 90 minutes from launch to landing.
Yes, and they don't want to veer off course. That has happened in the past. Creates a lot of problems and raises uncertainty for the next group that has signed up to go up.
It really is the new frontier. Of course, we've seen Jeff Bezos, to your point earlier, Lauren, taking paid customers up into space, in fact, higher than the Virgin Galactic launch.
I want to see the reaction when they land.
Yes.
Because the difference right now is they just seem so calm and focused.
Yes, but we were saying that these are the Italian crew members, they're Italian army, right? So they're supposed to be cool, calm, and collected.
I wanted a party. I wanted the champagne to be popped. In
They're all
space.
about the work. And then, of course, you have Elon Musk and SpaceX, and who's done such a tremendous job with the commercial side of things, taking up satellites for companies and countries around the world. He has been remarkable working with NASA. So, I mean, this really is, they talk about the burgeoning space program. It really is
You
in the
have
private sector.
3 tech geniuses and billionaires pioneering the future of mankind by using outer space. Jeff Bezos, he was valedictorian of his high school back in 1982. He said he wanted to build space hotels and other things in space to preserve planet Earth.
That's what he said all the way back then?
All the way back then. Here, he is doing it, Richard Branson is doing it, Elon Musk is doing it, NASA is doing it.
All I wanted to do was play professional football. It didn't work out. So there you go. I was setting my sights a little lower, literally and figuratively. So here we go, coming back down through the clouds.
That seems fast.
Yeah, it's and to your point, Lauren, they have to get this right. They're going to glide into the runway. They're in the New Mexico desert near Truth and Consequences, or
Spaceport
TNC as they call
America.
it, Spaceport America. And here we go, cutting through the clouds here on their way down. And don't want to jinx it, but so far, so good. Everything has gone exactly to plan.
It has. It has.
Absolutely amazing. I love how you speak about this industry because you've been an advocate and a part
What's
of this
also great, by the way, is we
for
get these
a
amazing
while.
views,
And can you talk about what
which
drew you to
is,
the
there you
commercial
go,
space
there they
side?
are, calmly looking out the window saying, you know, wow, that went quickly.
And I've really been inspired by it. I have
Oh, there
a
you go.
deeply
He's
rooted
laughing.
belief in the potential of this
There
industry.
you
Thumbs
go,
up. You
there
got
you
the
go,
thumbs up.
smiling, a little bit of clapping.
Democratize access to space, certainly for science communities and for the research community like myself.
Is this
Wondering-
actually happening?
Wondering how many air
Galactic
miles they get for
But
this trip.
I also, for civilians of all disciplines, I really do believe that the space age
You
is
know,
a
ultimately,
cultural
Virgin Galactic wants to do
movement,
this
and that our
400
next
times
giant leap will
per
require
year.
the talents of artists,
Well, if they do that, they're going to
engineers,
make a lot of money
and everyone in between.
based on the amount of tickets. Maybe the ticket price comes down, I don't know.
It
But
has to. It has to, but right now, almost $500,000
look
to
at that
experience this.
desert land below in New Mexico coming into...
The Mojave, yes?
no, it's in New Mexico. It's be the Rio Grande area.
Yeah, just awe, excitement. I'm sure you can tell. I'm just, it's amazing to be here. And just deep appreciation for all that goes into this and all that this means. I know this is the beginning of routine and regular commercial operations, but to me, it will never get old.
Oh my God, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us here.
I'm going to run
today.
down and welcome
I
that crew
know.
back.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks.
All right, this is just an absolutely exciting time for the research community. I mean, the excitement off
Yes,
of Kelly is just
absolutely.
palpable, and I can't wait for us to be cheering her on as she does her research in science
Well,
and
you can
space
tell
soon.
just
So,
from this video, we are getting
let's
closer
check
and
in with
closer,
our crew.
obviously,
They're just
to
set back
touchdown here.
Absolutely. So we are
Again, in the
just
New
over
Mexico
11,000
desert there.
feet.
Everyone's looking
For
very
those of you
calm.
here on site, you
And of course, the
will be
history-making part of this first commercial flight for Virgin Galactic, Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, who is in everything. He has airplanes, he has cruise ships,
He sure does.
music labels, you name it, he's done it. And that's an interesting perspective right there. You kind of don't get a
It's a
real...
bird, it's a plane.
Yeah, it's moving fast, but you don't get that
VSS
sense
Unity.
when you're actually close up onto it. But there you are.
South to north. And for those non-pilots
And
tuning
again,
in, those numbers
everything,
represent
that's
the
quite a
first two
steep
numbers
descent,
on the
isn't it?
And as this is
heading of
happening,
compass for
the
runway
company's
direction. So, for
stock
example,
is down 8.5%.
It's 340
Interesting.
degrees. The landing gear is now down and locked. We have 3 green. That means all gear are down and locked. And we're making our final approach to the runway here at Spaceport America. We like to make left-hand turns for our approach. That's because the commander is in the left seat, and it provides the best line of sight for them as they come into the landing. Now, the runway here at Spaceport America is 12,000 feet long. That's 3.7 kilometers and 200 feet wide, or 61 meters. 1,000 feet above the runway. 500 feet. Over the threshold, that's the beginning of the runway. And you'll see that pilots hold the nose up. That's a flare maneuver, all part of the energy management.
Wow.
They did it.
Main gear
They did
touchdown.
it.
They did it.
So the
Very
pilots will
smooth.
continue to hold the nose gear in the air as we continue to bleed off some energy as we run down the runway. And at the designated airspeeds, they will lower the nose
There it is.
gear as well.
Wow.
Nose gears down. Now, as our ground speed slows, when we reach a designated ground speed, the pilots will apply the brakes and bring the vehicle to a complete stop.
Well, there you have it. Picture perfect is pretty much says it all. That glide from,
All right,
the
braking
edge of
now.
space down onto this runway in New Mexico, absolutely perfectly executed. And congratulations to the crew, 6 people on board, and the spacecraft did everything it was supposed to do.
They wanted to prove reliability, and it looks like they just did, and they're going to get ready to
there's
do
wheel
it
stop.
all again in August.
Yeah, you can hear
And
the
every
cheers
month.
from the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What
Welcome
a
back to
beautiful
Earth.
landing and a perfect way to complete our first commercial flight and our first dedicated science mission. Congratulations to everyone on board, our very own Spaceship Unity who returned to space today. We saw beautiful flying from our Eve crew, Jamil and Kelly, and brilliant work by our chase pilot, Dan Alex, all of whom are still in the air right now. Great job to you all. Now, we still have one more guest here in the studio with us, Italian Air Force Major General Maurizio Cantiello, who's the Defense Cooperation Attaché at the Embassy of Italy in Washington, D.C. Benvenuto, General.
All right, fascinating to watch, wasn't it? Great stuff. Everything went to plan, and you just watched the Virgin Galactic first commercial space flight, and it was, again, picture perfect. Congressman Wesley Hunt, Republican from Texas, joins us now. Congressman, fascinating to watch. You were watching along with us. What's your reaction?
I think the only thing I could think about was space, the final frontier.
Yes.
As a pilot myself, I was just absolutely mesmerized by what I just saw. So neat to think about the history of flight just in this country over the course of the past 100 years is remarkable. It's just American ingenuity at its best.
Are you happy with this? You know, we have Jeff Bezos, we have Elon Musk, we have Richard Branson. This really is the final frontier, to your point. But it just shows you what the private companies can do in conjunction with, someone like NASA. I mean, it really is exploded and continues to move forward at an incredible rate.
I think this needs to be kind of the wave of the future in many industries. Look, we need to get the government out of the way, allow the private sector to continue to innovate for the future, of course, with some help from the government.
Yeah.
But I think we always can admit that we do it better when we allow private companies to take the lead on initiatives just like this.
Couldn't agree more. But there are those that say, look, we've got so many problems down here on Earth, that things that really need our attention. Why are we spending money? I know it's private money, but couldn't money be better spent helping people down here on Earth and the problems they face? What would you say?
Well, I think we could actually walk and chew gum at the same time. And if you're looking at billionaires that are able to put people in space for sport, I can assure you that we can figure out a way to secure our border as well.
And Lauren, to your point, you've been following this story. I mean, I'd say picture perfect, but that looked as good as it can get, right?
I'm looking for a response, a reaction from Richard Branson. I haven't seen one yet, but he's got to be saying, "Oh my, thank goodness, this worked. We proved it." I don't mean to be dismal, but you're looking at the stock price of the company. It's down sharply today. We just uncovered debris from the Titan submersible.
Yeah.
And we're talking about adventure tourism, extreme tourism, and this worked.
Yeah.
This worked.
And Congressman, Lauren brings up a good point. There has been questions after the submersible tragedy, and yet there are those that say, you know what, we need to push on. People understand the risks, and it's important that we continue to forge ahead. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree with that. And I think that's kind of a part of the American ethos. It's part of our human spirit.
Yes.
Is to continue to explore and push the envelope. And every now and again, we're going to have some accidents. We're going to take a few steps back in order to take a few steps forward. But it's necessary in order for us to continue to be on the curve of technology and creating a better world for our future. And this is exactly how it's done, incrementally, with taking risks and chances like we saw today.
And Congressman, if you had a chance to get on board one of these craft, would you?
And for how much?
You know, I don't have $500,000 for this quite yet. But if the price goes down, I would absolutely love to go on board one of these things.
You're a very brave man, I can tell that. Congressman, thank you very much. We're just going to go back to the picture now and listen in to what the space crew are talking about, and we're waiting for the actual astronauts, I guess you can call them,
They're
to
astronauts, yeah.
get off the plane. Let's listen in.
There's actually 800
We
waiting.
spent in space.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us in the studio today. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you to everyone on the ground here at Spaceport America who made this day possible. We cannot wait to hear about the experience from our mission specialists and to see the results of the experiments conducted on board. We will be continuing the celebration here as we await the arrival of all the other vehicles. Wherever you are on planet Earth, we thank you for watching. We'd love for you to join one of our upcoming future missions. Please join in on the celebration via social or head over to our website to learn more about this mission and how you can embark on your own journey to space. Ciao.
Oh, because of course they say ciao because we've got the 3 Italian crew members on board who are doing those experiments, and you can just, I believe, are they now getting out of the vessel on the far side there?
There's a backlog of 800 customers
To take
waiting
this
to do
journey.
this. Virgin Galactic wants to do this 400 times per year, but establishing a solid safety record is critical for them to do
course.
it and every other company too.
I wonder if they, when they get out of that aircraft, whether they're
They're gonna jump.
a bit woozy, you
Yeah.
know, they a bit staggering around a little bit. But if that's one of the pilots, they seem to be doing very well. There you go,
And a
people
hug.
hugging, yeah. They look great. What an experience for them, once in a lifetime. Everything looks so remarkably calm. This was the 500th time they've done it.
It might be because they're professionals.
Well, that's true. But it's amazing the amount of people out there who they're not with the military, they're not with anyone, they just really want to experience space and weightlessness.